Hey, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Thanks for taking the time and tuning into today's episode. Hopefully, if you're watching today's episode, you had a chance to watch the Sales Code Part 1. We talked about some great stuff in that first episode. Really what is the foundation of sales, helping people go from where they are to where they want to be. We talked about the value of time, and regardless of what it is people are buying, that time really is the weighted factor on a subconscious level of what drives people's decisions. So kind of getting into today's episode, let's talk about really what is the only reason why people buy stuff. I think the same motives and the same factors that drive somebody to make a decision on orthodontics is typically going to be the same motives and drivers that somebody's going to buy a car or partner with hip or buy a boat or even as simple as buying a stick of deodorant. I learned this, Luke, many years ago. I think I learned this from the old Grant Cardone, actually. If anybody's studied Grant, you know, he's definitely an acquired taste. Not really our vibe so much.
There's some good things there. You just got to know how to filter it.
Yeah, he's a little aggressive, but I think we can all learn a couple things from a couple people. So there's really only one reason why people buy anything. Braces, partnership with hip, stick of deodorant. What's the only reason why people buy anything? Keep it real simple for everybody. Ready? Drum roll, please. Why is the only reason why people buy anything? It's to solve a problem. That's the only reason why people buy anything. Let's use the basic example of I need to go to CVS or I need to go to Amazon and buy a stick of deodorant. Am I going to Amazon going, I'm solving a problem today? But at a subconscious level, why'd you buy the deodorant? What's the problem you're trying to solve?
I ran out and I stink.
You stink. My problem is...
Stink by noon.
Stink by noon. My problem is nobody wants to be around me. I stink. I can smell myself. I need a stick of deodorant. Therefore, I'm buying the stick of deodorant to solve my problem. With orthodontics, pretty straightforward. What's my problem? I got molars growing out of my ears and incisors coming out of my nose. Probably need some braces to fix that problem. Give one more example. Somebody asked me this, a few months ago, and they're like, well, what about like non-essential items or things that...
A purse, a watch,
right?
It's still a problem.
It is a problem. It's not a life or death problem. It's not a...
First world problem.
We call it a first world problem, but what's the mindset, right? Ladies, let's use the example of the purse. The... Louis Vuitton, is that, that's the thing? Sure, right?
Coach Louis,
right? What's the problem? The problem is that you're trying to solve is a new emotional housing that you're trying to live in. You say, with this purse, I feel this way, I act this way, people look at me this way. I don't know if it's accurate, but that's how you feel.
Right.
Therefore, if I buy the Louis purse, it'll make me feel this way. People look at me that way. I'll now have status. Therefore, if I purchase this product, I've now solved that problem.
And you envision yourself before buying the product. Well, if I had that watch,
right,
I'd really have some swagger, and people would notice. And I think it's just about everything that's not essential. I mean, you look at a guitar player and, if I got the new Gibson, my tone would be out of this world. Whatever it is, you're solving a problem.
Bingo.
Right?
That's the only reason why people buy anything. So that made a lot of sense to me when I learned that. I guess sales in general is like what I totally nerd out on, and always trying to figure out, like, how do we go deeper? How do we understand more? And so the next question I wanted to answer is, okay, well, if I have a solution to your problem, how come everybody doesn't say yes? Here I am. Your kid's got crooked teeth. I have the expertise, the schooling, the equipment to fix that. Why doesn't everybody say yes?
Well, we could talk about this for a long time. But, I go all the way back to you saying there's a lot of really bad salespeople. And I think the connotation and the experience that people have, it really kind of taints the whole buying experience. Mm-hmm. And if we could take a step back, and, we're reading The Trusted Advisor. That's a great book, to have anybody to read, not even in a sales role. right? If you're dealing with people, it's a great book. But there's a quote. I don't think it's in that book. It's in another book, but we talked about it recently too, which sales is opening. Sales is not closing.
Mm-hmm.
Sales is opening. And if you can figure that out, and then you segue into the trusted advisor where you're gaining trust, you're building the relationship, you're building rapport, people know they can count on you, then people are going to buy from you, right? Because you're not just trying to get a close. And so many people think, oh, I drive on a car lot, and we saw it when, I dropped you off to pick up your Jeep. The guys are standing there.
The vultures.
Hey, yeah.
The vultures.
And people hate that.
Yeah.
It goes back to what we say all the time, which is people love to buy stuff.
They hate to be sold.
There you go.
So think about that, right? Last time you were buying a car, right? New car day is always a fun day. Everybody gets excited about new car day. You've probably been shopping online.
Once you get in it and drive away, it's fun.
Right? But the lead up, right? You've probably been online and building it up, and I want these features and this color, and okay, today's the day we're going to go find it. You're so excited to get to the car lot. Can't wait to go buy the car. And then you drive in the car lot, you park, and who do you see lurking at the door? You see the vultures.
Then you're going to be there all day.
You're going to be there all day, and here's the vultures waiting to sell you. And what happens emotionally? Suddenly, sometimes we get turned off and I just wanted to go buy my car and pick out my car, and you, sir, just do the paperwork.
Right.
And now here they come, the vultures. It's like the saying, people hate to be sold, but they love to buy. We're excited to buy when we get there. The vultures show up. We get turned away. Maybe we don't end up buying the car.
And I think this is a perfect segue into the next section, because what I started realizing is, hey, if you reach out, if you know where you want to buy a car and you establish a relationship there, you can say, here's the car I want. What can we do so I don't have to be there all day? Oh, you can put in a deposit. When the car shows up on the lot, we'll notify you. You can get pre-authorized, all this stuff. When you show up, we only need 6 signatures and 10 initials, and you're out the door. And so that's where we're going, and I don't want to drop the word, but why am I doing that?
Well, to lead into the next segment, right? So to recap, right? So there's only one reason why people buy anything. It's to solve a problem. To recap that, you have the solution to the problem. How come everybody doesn't say yes? And that's what tees up kind of this next question, which is, what's the number one reason why people buy, right? There's only one reason, is to solve a problem, but there's other factors involved in that. And to put it at a high level, those factors to me, there's like 4 factors. I call them 4 commitments, 4 clarities, if you will. Anytime I've watched a sales call, a consultation, et cetera, I always come back to, the reason this one didn't close is because of a lack of clarity on one of these 4 things. These 4 things are time, number 1. Obviously, money and finances, number 2. Number 3 is going to be the decision maker or decision making, right? Are the appropriate parties there? And the last one is just going to be knowledge. I think in orthodontics specifically, the knowledge side of things, knowledge being, do I understand the product that I'm buying? In orthodontics, knowledge very seldom is going to be the point. It's pretty straightforward. What's the product? Brackets, wires, aligners, straight teeth, right? But it's time, it's decision maker, it's money, and it's overall knowledge of what I'm buying. So out of these 4 things, these are the 4 reasons why, okay, I've got the solution to a problem. Why will somebody end up going with it or not? The number one reason in my mind, drum roll please, is time, right? And this is a very subconscious thing for anybody listening. I don't think people wake up when they're ready to buy a car, when they're ready to take their kids to the orthodontist. I don't think people wake up and go, I'm looking to buy some time today, right? No, they're looking for the solution to their problem. But at a very subconscious level, that decision or that question of, is the time worth the money? That's what ends up tipping the scale over. So you use your car example. What were you buying when you said, I don't want to come in, What can I do so I don't have to spend all day there? Can you make this work? I make a bet if the dealership said, no, you got to come in, you got to meet with our vultures, you got to sit down and go through the whole thing. I have a feeling if I know you, you would have been like, I'll just call the next Cadillac dealership and see if they can do this. What was the underlying thought? Time. I'm buying time.
Mm-hmm.
Let's use a basic example. Lunch during the day. Okay? Why would somebody go out for lunch, go buy a salad for lunch that costs them $15, $20 for a salad, when they could go to the grocery store and buy a head of romaine, a cucumber, and a tomato for $5? Are they walking through the grocery store going, I'm buying time today? No. Subconsciously, they went, well, if I go buy all the stuff, I got to wash the stuff and cut the stuff and then clean the dishes and then put it away. And, well, if I just go to wherever to go buy a salad, well, DoorDash, spend the $90 delivery fee, right? What's going through my head, that $15, $20 is worth the time.
Well, I just did this today. I spent $30 on Taste of Jerusalem, shrimp shish kebab with some what'd I get with it, like a salad and it was like literally $30, probably with delivery $36, and I'm like,
and what was it?
I was like, whoa, that's a lot of money, and then I'm like,
well, what's my time worth?
Click the button, done. Yeah,
right?
Like I'm not gonna go drive.
Like,
I find myself driving around going, what am I gonna eat for lunch? It's like
waste of time.
Total
right?
waste of time.
What do we got? We got podcasts to do. We got calls to take. We got clients to serve. I can't afford to not spend the extra money to save my time. In orthodontics, right? Doctors listening, think about back in the day when like Invisalign really started making a splash. Like before aligners were even a thing and everything was brackets and wires, a lot of direct bonding. How did Invisalign sell or justify now having $1,000, $1,500, $1,600, I don't even know what they're charging, $2,000 lab fee? How'd the rep sell that? If you spend the $1,500 lab fee, it's going to be less chair time for you, less of visits for the patient, higher profit per visit, which is a whole different conversation, right? Higher profit per visit, less time for you being bent over. So subconsciously, what's the connection you're making? I'll spend the money to then save the time. I could literally, I'm not going to spend any more time here. I could go through just about any buying decision that anybody's ever made and link it in some way back to the relationship of time and money.
Hey, if you're an orthodontist listening to this podcast and wondering, how does this work for my practice? I actually have some ideas, but I also have some questions. Go ahead and click below in the description, book a discovery call with one of our practice advisors who can find out exactly where your practice is at now, where you want to be, and then create that bridge to get you there faster and easier. So if that interests you, go ahead and click that link in the description. Thanks so much for watching or listening to the GrowOrtho podcast.
Tangent alert.
Tangent alert.
But this is kind of interesting to think about, and then we'll move on, is you don't want to break your flow state. Have you ever been in a state where it's like, just put me on calls, I'm just knocking them down? And I don't mean like closing them, but maybe you are. But I mean, you're just crushing it.
That's in a rhythm.
That's
you're
called a
value.
flow state, okay?
Yeah.
If your TC is same day start after same day start after same day start flow state. Now, here's what happens. All right, everybody, time for lunch. We'll see you back in 90 minutes. TC comes back, had a big, hefty lunch, maybe a couple colas, and they are out of flow state, okay? They had every intention to stay in flow state. They were having a ball. They come back, I feel like I need a nap. Don't really want to talk to people. You just broke their flow state, okay? This is why a lot of companies with good culture order lunch for people, have breakfast on site, have coffee on site, do DoorDash deliveries, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This is why we do it for ourselves. I don't want to break my flow state. If I'm in flow state, the last thing I want to do is go drive around and hit Chick-fil-A and pound a sweet tea and my insulin goes through the roof and I gotta like fall over and take a nap. You know what I mean? This is why people like fasting in the morning, because they're fast. When you fast, you're fast. Your mind is working fast. It's using good fats to feed your brain. Have a cup of coffee. Eat something very light. What happens when you eat something heavy? You're out of flow state. And that's why a lot of people say, hey, save your big meal for dinner, because then, and I'm not, this is not like a diet or here's how to eat. My point is, how can you make better time decisions for yourself and for your team to where you're setting the practice up for ultimate success? It's all these nuances. A lot of people are looking for these big magic bullets. We just, heard from people who came back from an event and, AI. Well, one, AI's been around for years. I can promise you that tool is not going to take your practice from 1 million to 10 million. What we're talking about will. It's all these small nuances, tweaks, 1% here, 5% here, 20% here. And you pick up all this momentum, and it's the fundamentals. The fundamentals are what build massive companies, not these shiny objects that are here today, gone tomorrow type of thing.
You look at DoorDash and Uber Eats, they do not sell food. They sell time. Amazon really does not sell products. They sell time.
You can get the same thing at Walmart.
You can get the same thing at Walmart, right? Now, Amazon's knocked it out of the park because not only do they save you time, they also save you money because the shipping's free. That's why they're dominating the world. But I make you a bet most of us would probably still order on Amazon if there was a $1 or $2 or $3 or $4 or $5 or $10 delivery fee, because it saves me the time.
You'd have to,
right? You'd have to. So my best advice for anybody listening, whether you're a treatment coordinator, whether you're a scheduling coordinator, whether you're a doctor, is really think about how educated can you speak about the concept of time in the product services that you're selling. This is what took my sales career to new heights. And I don't say this to, gloat on me, but when I understood how to educate people about the relationship of time and money in regards to the product or service that we're selling, this is why I believe I could jump into just about any vertical and do okay. All I need to understand is what's the proposition here and how is it going to save somebody time? That's all I need to know, right? So treatment coordinators, maybe you're spending a lot of your time selling the modality and
the wire,
the bracket or whatever. These things really don't mean anything to the patient unless you can link it to how it's going to save them time. If I say we do all digital, custom 3D, I call them Star Wars brace, the patient goes, what? Okay, and
we've literally been in a consult where the kid goes,
I want the metal ones.
I just want the metal ones.
The cheap metal ones out of a box.
That's what my friends have at school. I'll take those.
Right. So if you really want to push the indirect bonding, the digital treatment, more power to you, whatever you want to do. I'm not going to tell you how to treat, but
this is going to save you.
This is going to save you
time.
This is going to save you time, less visits, less repos, be done faster. Treatment coordinators selling same-day starts. I can't tell you how many times I see people go, so do you want to get started today? And it's a coin toss, Maybe they say yes, maybe they don't. How do I anchor that to why they would want to get started today?
Now, Mom, do you really want to come back just to get started?
Bingo.
Do you really like taking off work?
And what do I see a lot of TCs do?
Well, here's what we could do.
It's beautiful. Luke's positioning the time, right? Do you want to come back for an extra visit? Do you want to have to sit in the waiting room again? And maybe you're in a saturated area. You got to go find parking and get it validated and fill out the paperwork and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. What are we selling here? We're selling time. What do I see a lot of treatment coordinators do for the same day start? They just knock off money. Now, there's a time and a place for that. If we get started today, we'll match your down payment, et cetera, et cetera. But they're not leveraging and pushing the time factor. They're trying to anchor and close on price. Yes, price has its place. I like a good deal. I know you do. Everybody likes a good deal. But that's a very conscious thought, is the price and the money. We'll take this off. We'll take that off to start today. And then what do people go? Maybe I still want to get a second opinion and see the price somewhere else. But if I start anchoring and tying down to what's this going to cost you with your time, and, Luke, I'm a single mother. I'm a single mother too. And, I got to take the kids to basketball and soccer and ballet. And tell me, Miss Luke, or Mr. Luke, like, is it that something we're talking about here is just like, is something just not perfect for you right now? Or do you just not really like us, and that's okay too? But the reason I ask is, like, I feel as a single mother myself, like, you don't really want to spend the time going to another office, sitting in the waiting room again, finding parking, taking the kids out of school, taking time off work, finding time in the schedule. I imagine you don't really want to do that. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I'm hallucinating. But why do you feel like you need to do that? It's because something's not perfect for you. So talk to me, Luke. Like, what's really coming up? How can I save you the time and the headache to not have to do this all again? We're selling the time. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
I think when we don't anchor it to the right things, people then go back to, oh, they're being pushy. They're trying to get me started today.
Mm-hmm.
So when it's softer and it's like, hey,
what's really
I
coming
know
up for you?
You probably had to take the kids out of school, or you had to take off work, right? And you live, 15 minutes from here with traffic, 25. Oof, I feel you. Well, I'd really love to save you time. I'd love to save you some time. How's that sound?
A bunch of time.
A ton of time. How's that sound to you? That sounds great.
If I could save you 5 hours of your time in a day, is that something that might help you out?
Might want to hear more about?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I would love to not have to come back. Okay, so here's what we could do.
Bingo. We're anchoring to time.
Yeah.
And then when you get into the money, this is when you get into price battles. I can tell you most of your competitors are not selling time. They're trying to sell price. Unfortunately, Smile Direct Club, Candid, Bite, yeah, their prices were extremely low. Yeah, clinically, they're terrible. It sounds like Smile Direct Club's about to finally go out of business. I think they just
possibly
filed.
Yeah.
But still, how did they make a splash? They were selling time.
And time is convenience.
Time is convenience. People, how does that feel to you guys when somebody says this is going to be convenient for you? That's like one of my favorite words that somebody could tell me is convenience.
Harrison, we're going to make this so easy for you.
Oh, how? Tell me. Would you pay a little bit more for saving your time, saving your day, and giving you convenience? We all do it.
Another thing that you can say is we found that most of our patients don't like coming back just to have to get Johnny started.
Ooh,
because
write that one down. That's really good.
That associates with, I want to do what most people, what do most people do?
That's
we realized
really good.
that most of our patients were not happy when we said they had to come back for another appointment.
So what we created
is this thing called same day starts. Let me ask you before I explain it.
Yeah.
Would you like to save some time?
Yeah, gosh, that's music to my ears. I love that. It's really good. Take those notes down.
Soft. Don't worry about the sale. Don't worry about we need to sign the contract. All those things will come. Just lead them to the next step. We already know they want to start. We already know why they're here, right? We already know all these things. Here's the next step. You're just unlocking.
Yeah, it's good. I heard something the other day when we were in the office. I think I shared it with you guys too. And I'm paraphrasing here, but Jeremy Miner, if you guys want to follow him, he's really good at sales. But he says, typically, the more externally excited you are, the less excitement you're going to get in your prospect. Because it goes back to the I'm excited to sell you versus, hey, how's it going? The vultures, right? Versus, we talked in the first video how important tone is. Tonality, right? I could be saying nothing right now. If I was just talking, plain, boring, saying nothing to you right now in this kind of tone, It's totally different than if I like brought it up like this and I was talking like that. Like, I'm not even saying anything right now, but I imagine you and Zach in the studio and anybody watching probably feels different when I'm talking like this than, you know, if we just kind of take it back here. So the tone is curiosity. You don't, I mean, Luke, as a single mother, like, I can't imagine you like really want to go do this all again 3 or 4 more times, do you? Curious. And then what's the mom going to go? No, I don't want to do that.
Well, we were just hoping that we could get started because we saw this thing on Facebook and then they're going to tell you and you're like, totally understand. We can make that happen.
Yeah.
And boom, go from there.
So let's move on because we could honestly, I could talk about just this concept of time for hours. It was a revolutionary change in my sales career. Shout out to Randall Grizzle at Closer Secrets and old ClickFunnels. I remember the first time I hired him for some coaching, he said, just tell me everything you know about time. That's your first session. I was like, what are you talking about? Ended up being the best gift. So, Randall, if I send you this episode, appreciate you, man. So, the question is okay, hopefully you guys understand how powerful time is on a subconscious level. So when we talk about speed to lead and following up and being persistent and calling people back in 2 minutes or less, like, we're not just saying these things because it fits our agenda or because it sounds good or we're pulling these things out of the sky. So knowing that the close at the very end is not about what happens in the consult. Yes, what happens in the consult is important, but it's really what happens in the close is a culmination of everything that happened from the very first moment I reached out to you. So do you think this mindset applies to how fast do you call your leads back? How long do I have to wait on hold to talk to somebody? Do you answer the telephone? How soon can I get in for an appointment? Can I come in like this week or am I pushed out 6 weeks? How many appointments am I going to need to actually get the braces on and get started, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? You guys have all heard first impressions are everything, and you've only got one choice or one chance to do that. So imagine here I am. I'm a prospective patient. I'm a stranger. I wasn't referred to you by a dentist. I found you online. I go to your website. I request an appointment at 9 a.m. in the morning, and an entire day goes by, and I haven't gotten a call back. Subconsciously, what's going on?
Then 2 days go by. Then
2 days
3 days
go by. 3 days go by. You know, the list goes on, but subconsciously, what's going on in my mind?
So here's the frame for your mindset, and here's what hopefully we can shift in this moment. The last thing you want to do when someone is ready to move forward is put up all these barriers.
Bingo.
And we talk to so many people and, oh, well, that's not my process. And how could we do that? And we're booked out 5 weeks or 6 weeks. And my team could just, I mean, they'll never be able to do this. And if I require this, they'll quit. And I mean, there's just all these excuses.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Your excuses don't matter. Your excuses are not going to change the way people buy in the 21st century with the internet, with AI, with technology, with DoorDash, Uber, Lyft. The list goes on. We have been conditioned. And you have to understand consumer behavior, psychology, and that people's brains, their neurons are literally picking up behaviors. And when they do, you're not going to change their brain. People like Google, people like Facebook, they're going to change people's brains.
Yeah.
And then we're going to have to shift what we do based on consumer behavior. And so all of this is scientific. With that, you know, if we're thinking about what fits our process and what's good for us versus what's easy for Harrison, then this is why so many orthodontists, I'll go even further. This is why so many small businesses fail. And if you look at the stats, I think it's somewhere around in the first decade, 80% of small businesses fail. They're all thinking about what's good for me. It needs to fit my process. I mean, I could go on and on about, and I'm sure you could do, about experiences that the people doing it are maybe an artist or a craftsman. They're amazing. What they're terrible at is really thinking about the patient, the customer, the consumer, whatever you want to call it. and adapting to their needs. This is why certain companies like Chick-fil-A, who are closed on Sunday, right, are more profitable per unit. I think it's like 2 or 3 times than a McDonald's. McDonald's doesn't care. They just care about opening as many locations and being everywhere. They don't care about changing for consumer behavior. Chick-fil-A does. They make you feel good, right?
And they understand time.
I can tell you I worked there when I was 15 to like 18. When an order goes over 5 minutes, it goes in the red. That's what they call it. At like 3 minutes, it goes to yellow. At 5 minutes, it goes to red. Literally, alarm bells start going off. Like the screen's
And
beeping.
this is every single order.
Yeah, the screen's beeping. Managers start running out of the back office. We've got to get out of the red. Why?
Time.
They know that if enough people wait over 5 minutes, they're going to tell their friends. They're not going to come back. Their friends aren't going to come back. And so they'll start stuffing. I don't know if this has ever happened to you. They'll start stuffing free Chick-fil-A or free ice cream on us in the bag if you're waiting over 5 minutes.
Wow. I mean, Chick-fil-A is a phenomenal example just for everything we're talking about, sales and customer service, time. I don't know about you. Chick-fil-A is the only company, I'm not even going to say restaurant, anybody that has any kind of drive-through service, a bank, pharmacy. Chick-fil-A is the only company that if I see that line wrapped 18 times around the block, I'm going to get in that line.
Yeah.
Because
you know
what
it's
have they
gonna move.
conditioned me to know and to feel and to experience is they value my time, they respect my time, and I'm not going to be sitting in this thing for 30 minutes. Right? And it's a easy buying decision. So I want to preface this for you guys. This would apply to scheduling coordinators, treatment coordinators, even doctors. Have you ever found yourself in a day and you're kind of having those thoughts and you're like, man, you know, the leads this week, they're just bad leads this week. Nobody's answering the phone. We're all guilty of it.
Because of the leads.
Yeah. Or, you know, the consults this week. You know, everybody last week wanted to start. Nobody this week wants to start. And there is ebb and flow and fluctuation, but I've said it too. You've said it too.
It's not our bad processes. It's not that. It's the leads.
Right. You know, oh, the doctors I talked to this week, everybody wanted to grow their practice. Last week, nobody wanted to grow their practice. Well, to build into what we're going on here is, well, why'd they reach out to you in the first place? You think an orthodontist who's busy with patients and a team and a staff and a clinic, you think they're just reaching out to some strangers in Pensacola, Florida to take an hour of their time, 2 hours of their time, 3 hours of their time to have a conversation just because? No.
You think somebody's opting in on your orthodontic ad just because they want to troll you?
Yeah. I mean,
some people.
Like, yeah, but like how many?
Yeah.
Right? Like, so we have to come back to this is like, but why did you do it? Just because somebody's guarded or closed off or maybe a little grumpy, something like that, that has nothing to do with their original intention of why they reached out. And so it's these 3 words. It's truth, it's fact, and it's reality. And in any situation, any buying situation, this could be a new patient phone call. This could be a consultation in the exam room. In any buying situation, there's 3 parts to this situation. The first part is the truth of the matter. The second part is the fact of the matter. And the third part is the reality of the matter. Here's the truth, Luke. I don't care how guarded you are, closed off you are, grumpy you are, uninterested as you act. Here's the truth. And anybody, if you agree, if you say this is not the truth, please message me. The truth is, you took your time to reach out to me for some help. Can we agree that's the truth? Like, I didn't force Luke. I didn't go to Luke's house and pick up his hands and make them click and type on a computer. You did that on your own accord. Can we agree that's the truth?
You caught me. I did.
Right? The patient sitting in your consult room that's a little edgy. The truth is they took their time to be there. Unless you're running some strange practice where you go to people's front doors, put a black bag over their heads, stick them in an old
Hit
dirty
'em with
Volvo,
Hit them with a pillowcase of soap.
yeah, and say, you're going to learn about braces today. Come here. If you're doing that,
Get in the van.
we got bigger issues. But if you're not, and you're like a normal human, the truth is they took their time to be there. Now, these are not things that I'm saying to people, unless I need to, right? This is a frame of mind that we have
This is what we're coaching people on.
This is what we have to remember. It doesn't matter your attitude, your energy, your vibe. The truth is you took the time to reach out to me for help. What are the facts? Okay, that's the truth. What's the facts? The facts are there's a reason you did that.
The facts are I clicked on 3 other offices too.
And the facts are there's a reason you did that.
Right.
You're fishing for something. You're looking for something.
Right.
What are the facts? I don't care.
The facts are I think you may be a little salesy. Right?
That's we could open up a whole different can of worms on that, right?
But my point in bringing this up is when you see someone kind of peeved or arms crossed or body language isn't so good, you have to understand the truth and the fact and know I've got to lower their guard. I've got to connect with this person. When you say, yeah, mom in TC office number 2 is just a insert word, well, you're probably not going to have the best shot at opening them up and moving them forward. Mm-hmm. That's on you. That's not on them.
Right.
They're here.
Which
you
is
think
the truth.
Chick-fil-A says, oh, that person was rude over the speaker system or to Sally with their tablet out. No, they don't care.
No, they know the truth. This person took their time to be here in my store. The facts are there's a reason they did that.
We're going to smile. We're going to say my pleasure. We're going to get them through. We're going to offer great service. They don't change. They offer the same service to you and same service to me, right? But I see so many offices cherry picking and, they said this and this. Guys, we've been guilty of this too.
100%.
This will shut the deal down.
Mm-hmm. So the facts are there's a reason they did that. What are the reasons? I'll tell you the one reason. They want some sort of change. If we go back to the only reason why people buy anything, which is to solve a problem, do you see the correlation here? They want something. They want change. I go to Chick-fil-A because I'm hungry. The truth is I took my time to come see you. The facts are there's a reason I did that. What's the change I want? I want a full tummy. I want more pickles, right? There's a reason they did that. The third part to this is the reality. And here's the reality, Luke. The reality is every single person in this world is guarded. Every single person in this world is guarded. Some people are more guarded than others, sure. But everybody's guarded in some way. What are we guarded against? We're guarded against the vulture salespeople. We're guarded against spam phone calls to our phone. Maybe some people are just guarded about talking about money in general. Mm-hmm. They don't have a good relationship with money. It creates a guard. But here's the thing, and the driving point here is that guarded does not mean not interested. Mm-hmm. Guarded does not mean not serious. It just is. Guarded just is. But we have to remember the truth and the fact. You can be as guarded, nasty, mean, ugly, unappreciative, whatever. This does not negate the truth,
right?
Which is that you took your time to ask me for help, not the other way around. And the facts are there's a reason you did that because I know you want some sort of change. So my job as the facilitator, thanks again, Joe at once, as the facilitator is I know the truth, I know the fact, the reality is the reality. My job is how do I navigate you as a person to understand where your guards come from, why those guards come up, and how to help you get what you actually want. Just because you're guarded doesn't mean you don't want what I have to offer. That's my job, is to put you in a comfortable emotional state where the guards come down.
And, we sell high ticket, but I think something like this can work if you're just not getting through and the person is just maybe in some cases being ugly. Harrison, hey, I get it. But what do you want to do here? Tell me.
Yeah.
What do you want to do here? I mean,
Completely
seems
unattached.
like, maybe some guards up, and I can appreciate that. Or, you're not really sure, maybe it's us. But, I'm not really sure how I can help you because the things I'm explaining, it doesn't seem like they're getting through. So tell me.
Talk to me. What's really coming up for you, man?
Yeah.
Curious tone.
Where do you want to go? What do you want? What do you want to do? Where do you want to go from here?
Very unattached.
Yeah.
Curious tone. Like what's really coming up for you, man? Like, I know that, like, you're a busy guy. You're a busy mom. You had to come out of work. You had to take the kids out of school. You had to fill out the freaking iPad and the paperwork and sit in the waiting room. Like, I know you didn't just do that because you were bored.
Yeah.
What am I reminding here? The truth. You took your time, the facts. You didn't do that just because you were bored.
So how can we help you?
Maybe,
Talk to me.
Yeah, maybe I'm hallucinating, but I'm feeling like a little not on the same page. Talk to me. What's coming up?
Is it me?
Yeah, and that's okay if it is. But talk to me. What's really coming up so I can help you get what you took your time seeking for? Truth, fact, reality. Let's move on. I could talk on this for another hour. Hopefully, this concept makes sense, though.
All right, so I think we got to leave it here. I think there's going to be a part 3. Who knows? We may get into part 3 and talk all day, and then there's a part 4. But I hope this is valuable. Hope you guys learned something, and looking forward to talking through part 3 next week.
Learn to talk to people about time.
Thanks for watching.
Hey, did you enjoy this video? Click right here for another great video for orthodontist and dentist. We hope to see you there.